Okay, so while I was looking through the stimulus material, the letter by Kurt Vonnegut, I Am Very Real, stood out to me, and especially when he said, if you're an American, you must allow all ideas to circulate freely in your community, not merely your own. So this kind of struck up an idea through my own experience as an immigrant that um, the sort of American identity was to allow different ideas and allow different people and have a level of respect and inclusivity with those um, different things. So I decided to look at our current political climate and relate that back to the first ever nativist uprising, which was during the 1840s with the Know Nothing Party coming to a political rise. And I decided to ask the question, to what extent was the economic crisis of the 1850s the primary reason for the growth of the Know Nothing Party in the United States between the 1840s and the 1860s? And so what I found was that economics, the economic crisis was the primary um, reason for growth. However, there were other um, reasons such as misinformation and conspiratorial evidence against immigrants, and also there was also some cultural and social movements that also aided the nativist uprising. So I decided to look at those reasons and transfer them to our modern political setting. And what I found was that economics and social movements um, did still do play a role in how nativism is perceived in this country, and different ways we could handle nativism. So one of the ways was through economics and education. So the political science research, Benjamin Knowles from the University of Iowa, found that one way to temper nativism was to give a higher level education to people that wouldn't have it. And what he found was that the difference between people with a college education and people without a college education in terms of their nativist attitudes was about a 20% jump, meaning that people without college education had a 50% chance of having nativist attitudes, both implicit and explicit. However, college educated people had about a 30% chance of having nativist attitudes. So this is a big jump from college and non-college educated people. So one way we could solve this through providing more financial aid to targeted groups, and especially people that wouldn't have the chance to go to college. And this also ties into the economy, because as more people have college degrees, they can be incorporated into our global economy, thus helping them understand how we could all fit in this global economy instead of putting blames on immigrants for the economic problems in the United States. And another way to target nativism is through social interaction. So um, the one of the most widely recognized psychologists in this area is Stuart Oscom, and he's from the Stanford University, and he actually received a prize in 2009 from the American Psychology Foundation for his life achievements in application of psychology. And what he basically did is took about 500 different research studies and did a meta-analysis of them, and found that contact theory was the most efficient way at reducing nativist and discriminatory attitudes in people. And what contact theory basically is just saying that contact between two different groups, either majority or minority groups, helps reduce prejudice between those groups. So one of his findings was that you could implement this in our nation through local governments, and local governments could provide more opportunities for social interactions between people from various different neighborhoods. And one of his reasons for doing this is because immigrants tend to be concentrated in specific neighborhoods, so it would be easy to target those groups and provide more opportunities for social interactions between two people. Another way of doing this would be to have churches or places of worship form racially integrated congregations and promote interracial service and volunteer opportunities. And this has been shown to have a greater impact at reducing nativist feelings, because when you're working with someone and you have an equal standing and you're both trying to achieve the same goal, you're more likely to have greater attitude toward that person and reduce those nativist feelings. Another way of, and some limitations that come with this is that, of course, not all local governments would accept this idea, and it would be harder to implement this on a national scale, but there's still a greater opportunity for change if we work through local government.